proclaim what they're actually running here, as oftentimes teams wait till last second to actually run what they're going to run. But for this particular stage on Oasis, this is one where you can get away from running, you know, normal run-of-the-mill 3-3 if you want to. But for GEEKSTAR, doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. They are going to be heading out 3-3, and that's going to be it. Same for WGS, and it is University, so it's not overly surprising.
No, it's by no means surprising at all. As you see both teams rolling out, we are going to be on this first mid. And look at this flank you see from Darrow and also Flora there on the right, trying to get some early pressure.
We're now going in, and Leo already taking down Spear. Good opening here for GEEKSTAR, where they just got the early isolation, got him out of the fight early, and GEEKSTAR likely now going to be getting first control of the point. WGS immediately backing out, and not just backing out a little bit, backing out all the way.
Having to back out, losing that early pick there means it's safer to back out, because the point hadn't been flipped yet anyways. Come back in a little bit later. Here comes WGS. Looking for the recontest. Right now, the ult's still relatively equal across the board, though Leo does have that shatter advantage.
WGS heading on in. A little bit of pressure there going on the Vulture. Needs to back out. They take way too much poke damage. Immediately, GEEKSTAR just able to finish him off, and it wasn't really decisive at all.
I mean, they look to get that position on the point. You see them try to get the bubble use very, very early from Yeomwon, which they do. But Sven takes a lot of early poke, goes down. And you trade the health for the position. It's one of those trading your resources to grab that positional advantage, and they just could not get anything out of it.
Meanwhile, GEEKSTAR, they're holding really far up. They're trying to enable Leo, who goes straight in, drops the shatter, knocks down 3. And yet, WGS still alive here. They force out the Transcendent Zone. Now you look to Yeomwon, where if he can just get a grab, it's going to be a very easy fight cleanup. So, Graviton up. Goal here, just don't let be eaten. Instead, they get down Spear before the grab is even invested. They get to hold this back. This is absolutely the best case scenario for GEEKSTAR.
This is really one of the best possible fights they could have taken. It was a great shatter, very aggressive shatter from Leo. After the bubbles were out, he was able to walk past the shield, force the Transcendence from Darrow, and then they just run away, use the rally to re-engage afterwards, get another pick. So they're holding on, looking for the combo. You see right here, you see Yeomwon holding close. Gable, she's going to be, you know, putting that bomb in later.
And the reason why they're doing this here, they know there's not going to be a Transcendence up for it, so you get a good grab, it brings everyone in, and call in your buddies, you move in, you clean everyone up, and it's a very easy fight for GEEKSTAR. I mean, really, the only thing I'd really criticize about that is that you kill them so close to their spawn that you don't buy as much time as you could have if you had waited a little bit longer.
However, they do hold on to the bomb. Gable, she doesn't invest there. So WGS, they have another fight, they're coming back in. They're going to have 5 ults, nearly 6. As you see Vulture popping that rally. WGS moving into the point. The rally is very early, though.
It's an early rally where I think WGS just wanted to make sure they could get there. They're going to invest the Graviton early. Of course, have the Transcendence from Who on the other side. GEEKSTAR still very healthy. And now, Juby using the barrier as the bomb comes in from the other side. WGS draining most of what they have here. They do have a bit barrier in reserve, as GEEKSTAR now is looking a bit drained. Use rally, though, still very much in it. Leo moving forward under heavy pressure, and finally, going to fall. WGS investing pretty much everything to take this fight.
And making it work, though. Yeah. And I think they had to invest everything. They need to get the flip. And this is still an okay spot to be in for WGS. It's definitely, they have a huge time bank disadvantage to work against. But they are coming up with some ults. Something to notice is Yeomwon is close to that grab and Who is close to another Transcendence. So if this grab can come out before WGS can get any other support ults, before Sven can counter grab, I mean, they're in a kind of rough position. They make sure that the grab is going to be used almost as a peel from Sven.
I mean, for WGS, they're almost in a situation where Flora must eat the Graviton coming in here from Yeomwon, because Darrow, very unlikely to get Transcendence up by the time the grab is used. Now, they can grab themselves to kind of buy some time, and they're going to initiate with that early. Who, though, can answer Transcendence's own, and even with the Transcendence out, the split was such they couldn't heal everyone at the same time, and WGS ends up taking the fight.
Exactly what they needed.
Yeah, and more importantly, Darrow's going to have Transcendence for the grab.
That was exactly what they needed there. The early grab, rather than using grab to just be a peel, they engage first, which is just the perfect usage of my eyes, catching them in the corner, getting those early picks, and getting the Transcendence out of Who, which I don't think needed to. I mean, Transcendence is a relatively cheap ult with this much time bank. You're going to get it again for sure, but definitely not the best play there for GEEKSTAR as they move back in. They don't have their combo up just yet, and as we talked about, Darrow has the Transcendence.
Yeah, the important thing here for WGS is that they have options. There's no auto team fight loss condition that's out there, and they're going to open up the shatter. Leo down immediately off of the engage. Graviton being used, and Darrow transcending to keep everyone on WGS alive as the Graviton went in.
That was still a decent amount of ults invested for WGS there. Darrow popping that late trance. They also had Vulture use the rally. Spear using the shatter as they catch Assassin though, who'd been booped earlier in the fight down into the pit, which is a great stagger pick. That actually could be a fight turning pick because of that extra time bank right there. This is changed into a last fight scenario right now.
GEEKSTAR, who once was absolutely in a huge advantage, now backs against the wall. And right now, I feel like you have to turn the Leo. Hope they gets a good shatter, but already the Graviton's gonna be up the bomb, right up, over, and in. Vulture though, down on the other side. Yam1 came off the flank, took down 2. And GEEKSTAR, stuck in the grab or not, able to make this work out really well for themselves. They flip the point, and they're gonna get the round.
And it was Leo. I mean, you said, Leo, you want to get the shatter? He puts up the shatter, gets 2 people on the ground, and that's how Yam1 was able to get those frags. They deny the cleanup onto the grab. They set up Yam1 to able to shoot those players that are on the ground. So Leo being the hero in that last fight.
So GEEKSTAR, they got a little bit close to the flame there, to put it mildly, but able to work it out at the very end. Credit where credit is due, though, to the WGS side, where Sven had a really good Graviton to kind of equalize things at a time where Transcendence, even on its own, wasn't going to be enough to really save everyone in it. And that was a turning point for WGS, bringing it about as close as it could be.
WGS. GEEKSTAR now rolling on to the second stage here for Oasis. GEEKSTAR going to be up 1-0 so far, total rounds. And it looks like GEEKSTAR going to be rolling here for the Sombra Goats, the Sombra 3-3. It's not really 3-3, but the Sombra Goats is what I like to call it. And WGS going to be rolling at the same.
And this has been very common if you've been watching Korean Contenders over the last 2 weeks of play, that you see Sombra Goats a whole lot here on City Center. Even for teams that don't normally want to run Sombra Goats, they will still run it here. Teams like MVP Space certainly falling into that mold.
They see WGS taking the high ground, taking the jump pad very early, trying to look for an engage. Yama getting the hack onto Spin. And you see GEEKSTAR coming forward, trying to get the engage on that.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a slower style of gameplay where you wait for a good hack and then move in right after. It's Leo who's hacked here, and he goes down. Can't bring up the shield while hacked, and the focus fire immediately moving on in. So WGS getting the better of that, but they don't have point control. That's the problem. They have to move over and actually get control of the point. And GEEKSTAR, even in a losing fight, they can buy a lot of time here and get more progress.
They can definitely buy a lot of time. Gable Sheet getting very low. Gets the armor package. Yalmon catches Vulture on the rotation. Now, Gable Sheet down to Spin. So a very equal scenario.
Very equal between both sides. If you're GEEKSTAR, you're loving what's going on right now, where you're holding good contests here, you're keeping control of the point, and also in terms of EMP, they might not realize it, but it's also very even there as well.
And Yalmon doing a great job of continuing to pressure, harass Spin, because he was still alive. You have that Zarya advantage with a lot of damage on the field, a lot of utility, but keeping him low means that WGS can't push.
And Yamon gonna strike first with the EMP, and immediately both Reinhardts falling. Both teams about even after that, but it's WGS, their EMP was a little bit later, they get a little bit more value, they chase on down, and this time they should be able to get control of the point.
Not only was the EMP a little bit later, but it really, were able to catch who was at 90-something, 96, 97% trance. Gets the trance in that fight, but by the time that it's back up, by the time he's off the EMP, there's no one to save.
Now, the one upside here for GEEKSTAR is that because who did go down so early in the fight, guess what? He's going to have Transcendence to start up this next fight, so if they're swift here, they can really take advantage of that.
They are going to have to know, that, though, that Spin has that grav. There's the grab out right now. There's the trance.
Graviton out early, and once more, it's Leo with the response. Going to put 2 down on the ground, but they have to get Zarya off this. They do not. They need the equalize to do with that because Assassin went down so early in the fight. And so it's going to be WGS taking the fight in full.
But a very late beat from Chorong. I don't know why Chorong invested the beat there. Seems to be, maybe panic or they were afraid that they were losing people, but they already had the pick. Must have been reactionary to Leo's shatter. But the fight was pretty much over. So even though not the best fight for GEEKSTAR, I think they had still to be happy with it since they were able to get the beat out, able to get the grab out there. As they move back forward in here now, they're getting close to an EMP, though Flora has outbuilt them.
On the same side, Yamwan down. He was looking to build it. Daro said absolutely no way. Gets the counter pickoff onto it. And that's going to delay GEEKSTAR even more. And now they're hitting up the wall where they're going to be out of time soon. 61-58, and WGS is in control.
They are definitely running up against that wall. And in addition to that, despite those, maybe unnecessary ults used in previous fights, they're building up here. They're continuing to get that time bank out. So the overall bunny hop and economy and time bank still working in favor of WGS.
Look to floor right now, EMP ready, biding his time, waiting until GEEKSTAR actually goes into the point. You can buy a lot of time here as a defending team, that's what they're doing. But finally though, they're gonna use the EMP and immediately the engage is gonna be there. Spear used the opportunity to drop the shatter, Leo out of the fight, and man advantage for the WGS, but GEEKSTAR says we still want to fight. They drop a grab of their own. Yam1 holding on to the EMP in reserve, and they trade out grab for Transcendence, and now they transcend their own. And the X Factor here has to be Yam1. Where's the EMP gonna go through? GableG gets hacked, taken down, and it's a little bit too little, too late.
Yam1 waited so long on that EMP ZP. They saw that the ults had been used, they saw they were looking for the engage, and then he comes out and uses his appeal after his team already been grabbed. He needed to use it before the grab came out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was just looking for the perfect EMP. Perfect never came on through, and sometimes good is all you need.
So now it's going to be tied up here on Oasis. WGS GEEKSTAR moving into the final round here. And so far, we've seen, you know, the swap from both 3-3 to now to the Sombra 3-3 to the Sombra Goats. So it is interesting to see these teams sort of, you know, have similar strategy in terms of what do they think is strong on each round, each stage of Oasis.
Well, GEEKSTAR, they're going to be going back to a normal 3-3 where I feel like you could almost draw a big parallel between MVP Space and GEEKSTAR at this point, where there's certain maps where maybe the meta is established, you run Sombra Goats no matter what, like City Center, but if they can run a normal 3-3, they will. WGS, on the other hand, more than willing to continue running the Sombra Goats here, so we will get the contrast between both of these teams.
And I have like Flora on Sombra so far in the matchup when we see just from that one round there, is that Flora seemed to be getting a little bit more value.
GEEKSTAR, of course, because they're not running the Sombra, their MO, going to be trying to take the fight to WGS a lot more aggressively early on, while at the same point avoiding hacks that could stop them from making that as threatening as it could be.
You see WGS, they're trying to play a little split. They're trying to, you know, let Flora poke from the sidelines and play far enough back that if they need to, they can run away, walk contesting the point. So the point's unlocked now. Here comes GEEKSTAR with the drop.
GEEKSTAR also, they haven't fed Flora much at all here. Flora is very low on ult charge where Sombra should be, and this is a perfect opportunity for GEEKSTAR to just move in and take the fight to WGS after they get control of the point. They prioritize the point first.
And you see Flora 50% to the EMP. That's not high enough for how long this fight is lasting. You see GEEKSTAR move forward. They catch Vulture very early.
Flora's down. So not gonna be building any more. Two-man advantage of GEEKSTAR. This is where you can get way ahead in ult economy. You move forward, you dogpile on right after, and it's a little bloody, but it's something that GEEKSTAR can live with.
They can be very happy with that. The one thing to take note though is that now Florida's at 80% to EMP. They will have the EMP Shatter available. And GEEKSTAR does not have those report ults yet. They're coming up on the rally, but Nobi doesn't have the beat. Who doesn't have the Transcendence? So an opening here for WGS.
It's just a matter of how quickly. Okay, Flora immediately gets EMP, yes. So it's not a matter of that anymore. WGS, they're going to be looking to go in quickly, but the verticality of this stage does make it a little bit more difficult where they can't immediately dive in. But now they're going to drop the EMP, hits 3 straight off, Assassin out of the fight right after the EMP, and WGS, they do enough off that to get the cleanup that they're looking for.
A little bit of a misplay on the entry there for Flora, who decides to invis in and walk with the majority of their team that's catching the spam, so it gets decloaked. But a good EMP to sort of counter Assassin's rally there, to counter the aggression for GEEKSTAR. But remember, while you're playing this composition around Sombra, when the EMP's gone, you have no combos. You have no real way to finish through support ults.
And that's why Flora right now is looking to get extra build. And I mean, that isn't too bad there for heading in, a good solid 20%. The problem is that GEEKSTAR knows that he hasn't built enough here just yet, and they're going to have a really good opportunity.
So here comes GEEKSTAR moving, trying to get WGS off the high ground. Churwong not getting the boop that he needs. You see Wu.
Oh.
He was caught lower. He didn't fell. He was so hurt.
Dayro with an incredibly crucial assassination gets 2 at the very end. This was the fight that GEEKSTAR needed, because the problem is that when you don't take the non-EMP fight, now you're looking at losing 2 fights in a row, because Flora gonna have EMP for the very next fight.
This is a very, very rough scenario for GEEKSTAR, because of the EMP up, it should be a fight win. All you have to ensure is just you have a better bunny hop of the ults.
I mean, to GEEKSTAR's credit, they do have a lot on deck, but the EMP is going to require an incredible support play at Doobie or Who. There's the early EMP. Who going to move into Transcendence, but it's not time to save Leo. The problem is you have to stay so far back that there's such an opening for the other team to collapse, and WGS doing just that. And kind of the worst of both worlds there for GEEKSTAR, where now they're down to Transcendence with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, they traded for the EMP for the rally for Vulture, so they do get 2 ults traded for Who's Transcendence. But I agree in that I don't think the Transcendence was the right play there, especially with the time bank that they had. So now GEEKSTAR having to come back in. 5 ults on the field for them. They have the combo. They know there's no EMP, no Shatter on the field for WGS.
And if you're Flora, you look for the hack on the Gable C here, where you know the Graviton's going to be coming in, but if you can get the hack on the D.Va early, you can prevent that combo.
The hack's on.
We're going, there it is! Immediately, the hack on the Gable C really early in the fight. It means that they're not going to get the good combo they're looking for. Flora, though, is down. Shatter comes in from Spear, though, and that's just going to kind of put an end to it here for GEEKSTAR. They lose Leo and Assassin, and I can't say enough about the set for the fight, where we talked about Flora needed to do it in a non-EMP fight, and he exactly did it.
That was exactly what they needed to do. They identified their win condition. You see this a lot from Sombra Goats here in Korean Contenders, where they know they have to get a crucial hack. They know they have to find one player to deny the fight that's needed for the traditional 3-3, and they do that. Hacking Gable, she denying the bomb. Also, something to note is that when you hack the D.Va, also sets up the grav.
Yeah.
There's no grav feed available.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really well played, and I mean, that's how you make Sombra work in the non-EMP fights, right? Where you know that a really strong combo is hanging for you. You know that if it's just ults v ults with no interruption at all, you're going to lose the fight. So what do you have to do? You have to find the one moment to interrupt, and hacking Gable C there, that was the play to go for.
Yeah, that was definitely the play that they needed. They needed that play 100% to keep themselves in for, not get the flip, not to lose the fight. So really, really well done. I think that Flora, like I talked about, he looked like a little bit of the stronger Sombra when we saw them both play out there. And I liked the hacked. We see that a lot here, where Sombras recognize what targets they need to hack. Here in Korean Contenders, they know which targets I need to hack. I must get these neutral targets when I don't have EMP.
I think it's safe to say that right now, in terms of Sombra play, Korean Contenders might have the best in the world. They are remarkably consistent. But guys, you want to see more of it? We're taking a quick break. Right after this, Map 2 heading at you. GEEKSTAR came out swinging early on in their first control map, but they couldn't quite keep up the momentum. It was WGS pulling ahead, and what did they do it off? Sombra Goats.
Sombra Goats. And I think really the crux of the issue there for the teams was Sombra. The GEEKSTAR, they had a strong showing on University, where it was just a 3-3 versus 3-3 matchup. But when the Sombra matchup came out, when Flora moved to the Sombra, he outperformed, and he looked a lot stronger. It looked clear that WGS just knew how to play it better.
And I mean, again, I think that it's not necessarily that Sombra Goats is better than a normal 3-3, but it does really make a 3-3 team have to show pure excellence, particularly against Korean Sombras right now that have just been playing out of their mind, where, we're talking over the break. There's so many times in a cast we'll talk about the ideal scenario and what could be going on, and yet Korean Sombras right now are hitting that ideal scenario more often than not, where, the one way that you win a fight, as we talked about before, is that you hack a key piece of the combo, right? The Zarya or the D.Va, usually the D.Va. And what happens in that final fight when GEEKSTAR does have the resources to turn around? Gable, she gets hacked. And it just ruins everything. And it was such a good play coming in from Flora.
That was a perfect play. And exactly like you talked about, where not too many times can we see just how clean the Sombra Goats can be, where you can actually deny your win condition completely. And that's exactly what Flora does there, is deny the win condition. And if you're able to get that consistently, then it's fine if you're on Sombra, right? The hard part is getting it consistently. But if you can, then great.
Well, what people may not realize going into it, and why a lot of Sombra comps tend to fail, is that, it's a multi-part process going in where your team has to play around the Sombra really well. They have to wait to get good hacks and non-EMP fights. And then when you have an EMP fight, you have to be very decisive. But WGS following in that same mold. And now as we head over into King's Row, not usually the absolute most favorable map to a Sombra setup, but we have seen teams run it really well here as well, particularly the Element Mystics of the world. So honestly, if I'm WGS here and I just look at what happened on Control, I'm tempted to keep running Sombra Goats.
I think if you know that you're that far ahead in terms of the matchup as well, and you think that there is a real weakness for GEEKSTAR against it, then definitely. King's Row is a tough map to make it work, though, because 3-3 is just so enabled. Just very, very enabled on this map due to the enclosure.
Well, I think it's safe to say here, for how much GEEKSTAR is relying on running a classical 3-3, and how much of this map does tend to favor a normal classical 3-3, that they have to win this map or the series is almost certainly over, and with it, you could probably count their playoff dreams as well.
So now getting in. WGS going to be on the offense. GEEKSTAR on the defense here. GEEKSTAR, so far, looks like they're going to be rolling out here on the traditional 3-3. WGS, obviously, we don't trust the spawns by any means. Never trust. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Flora roll out on the Sombra, but don't trust the spawns.
I think it could just be Sombra Goats. Again, given our pre-talk here, it's the thing that makes the most sense for me from the WGS side. And, to GEEKSTAR, they're not going to be changing. It is a normal 3-3.
And WGS rolling out here once again on the Sombra Goats. Coming out, going to be taking the high ground. You're going to see most of the majority of their team move up to the high ground floor. Going to be entering from main. Obviously invisible, so no one can see him. Just trying to take that position.
So again, for WGS, the goal here is going to be, how much time do they have to wait until Flora gets an EMP where they want to posture and, at least provide a distraction, but they're not going to go in unless they get some overwhelming advantage, some key hack. But usually they just wait for the EMP.
As Flora now going to be touching the point, trying to bait GEEKSTAR to come out, and WGS just sitting on the high ground, baiting Flora, and potentially using it as a method to just engage afterwards. I've never really seen too many strategies like this before. It's quite interesting. I guess it's just safer to run the Sombra there, have the Sombra be touching the point, backing off, translocating when getting low.
Well, I think the goal is they didn't want to give an easy dive target, but now, okay, Spear just going to take the initiative, drops on down, and they do get the hack of the Gable Sheet rather early here. It does give them a little bit more opening to lay in more damage, but they need a little bit more. GEEKSTAR, I think, knows that they have the edge in this fight. Now they're going to charge it on down. Sven very low, Spear pretty low, and yet GEEKSTAR, they don't completely fall through. They give WGS a moment to breathe.
And look how early the shatter is for Leo. The thing is, though, is that look, as the longer the fight runs, Flora 75% to EMP. No support ults up too soon for GEEKSTAR. GEEKSTAR, all right, they have to be careful here. They need to know they need to win the fight soon.
They have to win the fight soon, but on the same note, they've bought a lot of time. It's already a minute 30. I mean, they'd like to at least get one fight before the EMP comes in. And right now, they're not taking initiative to that degree. It seems like they're just sort of accepting the fact that Flora's going to get EMP.
You see the split happening. Here comes the contest for point. Who almost had that Transcendence.
Well, the EMP's got to come out here for Flora. Make or break time here for WGS. And off the EMP, they get Leo and Assassin right after. So it is well executed by WGS. They get the EMP, they convert off it. But it's also not the worst for GEEKSTAR. I mean, holding or making a Sombra wait 2 minutes to build EMP in Contenders Korea is somewhat of an accomplishment.
It's certainly not the worst, but GEEKSTAR had opportunities there to be aggressive. They knew they had the ult advantage. They knew that WGS was positioning for the EMP. So I would have liked to see a lot more chase there, a lot more aggression, and make WGS rotate, run away from you.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could have done more with what they had, especially because they had moments where they could have just dove into WGS before they'd all split and gone away one more time. But for now, we'll see if they're able to get any momentum on point B. The next fight is one I think they absolutely do need to win.
So now GEEKSTAR moving forward. Leo is hacked right now. Gable Sheet going very low, getting caught on the flank.
And off that, Leo hacked early on. Flora, though, gonna fall. 5 on 5. Transcendence used here from WGS. They're gonna layer both support ults at the same time. This is very good for GEEKSTAR. The beat comes in, gonna be saving everyone. And that layering of support ults is gonna put WGS in a really bad hole.
layering support ults you never want to see. And something interesting as well is that GeeKSTAR was on the flank, looking to engage from there, and gets demeched early, and is in Baby Diva and kills Flora, and while in Baby Diva. So winning the pistol duel there on the flank. Now get back in the mech, obviously. GeeKSTAR holding the choke. WGS coming up soon to another EMP, and there's going to be no support ults up for GeeKSTAR.
And not only that, but you know, in terms of pressure on Flora, Flora has to hack either the Zarya or the Diva here because, well, Yamwan, oh, he just solo grabs Flora? You know?
I think that is a... I would say if it was a fight after they had EMP, like while they had EMP, I would say it was the right move. I think that move is extremely questionable, ZP, because now here comes WGS with the EMP, with Transcendence, and it's only GeeKSTAR's Diva Bomb.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought the EMP was about to come in, or otherwise that Flora would panic EMP, but Dayro's down. The early pickoff here is going to delay WGS. They're not going to throw the EMP into a fight where they're already down one, not when they have a decent time bank. So, but, you know, to the idea of a time bank, GeeKSTAR is really chipping into that right now.
As also the spam keeps coming in. Trollon going to go down from the spam, from the fire strike, from the right clicks. So WGS being trapped here in spawn. They haven't been able to get out of spawn yet. They have their EMP, they have Transcendence, they have ults to break out. But the longer this goes on, who is coming closer to the Transcendence?
This has been really, really sloppy from WGS for the last few minutes where, yeah, okay, the Graviton takes down Flora, but everything they do after that, they just give up kills for free. GeeKSTAR, they've bought their way back into this game. Heavy pressure now going on to Leo. GeeKSTAR, though, says, is that enough? Gonna drop the self-destruct in the middle of the street. WGS gonna shrug it off. Rally, finishing up here. Graviton up from Sven, down! Isolated by GeeKSTAR. He couldn't find a good opportunity to let it fly. And now the pressure is moving on in, and they decide the EMP 5v6. It's risky, but it does work. Spirit and Flora able to get 2 and convert.
I think a lot of teams would be hesitant in other regions to drop the EMP after you're down your Zarya, but they were in a great position. The post-fight is still happening, though. They have to be careful. They have to keep Dayro alive. They don't keep him alive. However, the spawns, they're going to be coming back with spawns.
WGS is able to finish it out there, but man, you're absolutely right. I don't think other regions would have taken that risk, and I mean, even towards the end, it wasn't a sure thing for WGS at all, and would have been disaster if they had lost, but you know, the risk does pay off.
Yeah, it was entirely set up, though, that Leo and Dobby were close. They were able to catch them extremely early. Though they did not have a lot of cart pressure during that time, so there is going to be another contest up for GeeKSTAR. They're coming in to grab very early.
Graviton in here from GeeKSTAR, they're looking for the fall through, and again, there weren't any support ults up here for WGS, so they had very little they could do to save Spear, and they almost get out anyways, so, you know, good for GeeKSTAR there that they're at least able to finish out one.
Smart for them to also know that there were no support ults up just yet for WGS. Be able to get that pick. One ult there, and GeeKSTAR, I mean, for GeeKSTAR I should say, they're going to have to back up. And WGS are waiting on Flora's EMP. They're really waiting for this EMP. They don't have win conditions otherwise. GeeKSTAR are coming up on double support ults very soon. Yamwan doesn't have the grab, so there is no early engagement unless they set up Leo.
Now, I do wonder if Flora just shows his face there, is it going to be met with an instant shatter? And speaking of shatters, Leo going to be shattering here to the left-hand side. WGS in trouble, and Sven's going to fall. Leo gets enough of that, but he's under pressure. Still winnable here for WGS.
The support ult's layered.
Yeah, they not only layer the ults, but the beat only hits one. That was really awkward for WGS. Now, do they still commit here? They have to. It's the final 3 seconds. The Flora's going to go in, drop the EMP, rain, sleet, or shine. Moves in, EMP out, and Dayro falling on the other side, even as Flora goes in, and GeeKSTAR, I think they've done it.
Fight is still ongoing. Spin is coming back with a grab. The bomb is out, though. Who picks up Chorong, and that's really going to be it. The grab is out. Wait, the grab is out. It's pretty good, though, but the counter grab, that should deny it. Yeah.
It's too many numbers on the point for GeeKSTAR where they could afford to lose 1-2 and still end up winning. WGS just too wounded in the end, and that was a very bizarre fight there on point B.
A very bizarre fight. And it was a great shatter early on from Leo to get Sven on the ground and remove the grab from the fight and get the cleanup. But once again, when Flora, they're waiting for the win condition, which is Flora's EMP. The EMP comes out, and he gets who? He gets Assassin, but instead of shooting who is in main, you know, he loses his shield health, then instead to focus down Assassin, and then dies to who?
I think the other thing to take a look at there, too, for GeeKSTAR is that, or sorry, for WGS is that, you know, they did have time to work with there. Why put yourself in a spot where Leo can land that shatter? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great heads-up play by Leo to get the Zarya on the ground and get something working, even though it was a trade, but it was something they could live with. But the entire point for me for WGS is that Flora was at about 80, 85% there. You can wait for the EMP at that point. It's not far away.
Definitely not. Who's getting a lot of cleanup frags there. So now WGS, they've been held on second before they get the cap. They have to have a great defense here, as GEEKSTAR are going to move on the offense. And so far, you know, for both teams, I've seen some questionable support ult usage so far for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the layering a support ult seems to be something that keeps rearing its head for WGS. But kind of going back to the general narrative of the game here so far is that we kind of said for GEEKSTAR and how they like running a normal 3-3, for the most part, that King's Row was a map they need to take. But interestingly enough, they're going to put Yamwan here on the Sombra.
Scout. It could just be Scout, but I mean, with GeeKSTAR swapping to Zarya, I think they're going to commit to it.
Yeah, I think they are. So GEEKSTAR deciding not to stick with the 3-3 here, and it's going to be Sombra Goats v Sombra Goats.
So now GEEKSTAR moving towards the point. Yamwan trying to get that pick. Flora is a little bit ahead in the EMP fight. See GEEKSTAR, they're on the point. Bubbles traded out.
Now, I do like this better from the offense here, where, okay, even with Assassin going down early, GEEKSTAR, because it is Sombra v Sombra, they'd be a lot more aggressive on heading into the point. It doesn't work out for them in the way they'd like, but I do like the logic behind it.
As also Darrow, he's caught very deep here on the statue side, but his team's there to peel for him. The late picks coming out. So GEEKSTAR having to back up now. Yamwan is going to be 60%, equalize the EMP advantage here. And the thing that's good for GEEKSTAR, and like you talked about, they can be more aggressive on the point, is that also they know their win condition. They can use an EMP, win a fight, tank a bunch of fights, and win the next fight again, as Yamwan are on point, just maybe in the Vulture drop, trying to contest.
Yeah, they can let EMP be their guy there. Yamwan right now getting very close, and once his EMP up, the main thing he needs to be aware of, just don't get stunned as you drop the EMP. Make sure you're in a very safe spot as you look for it. He's going to go for the EMP highly aggressively here, and it works out. Spear going to fall, but WGS fighting it back evenly to a degree here. Leo's getting very low, about to fall, and his Vulture just rolls around, gets a cleanup for WGS. And I think WGS has actually won this decisively to really stop GEEKSTAR in their tracks.
The counter EMP was much better for Flora. In addition to that, Vulture had that rally up, giving the extra stain. So really, it's all based around that counter EMP. You see that early aggression come out. It was essentially a solo EMP in a way to get the focus on the Spear. And WGS was just able to re-engage from a much better position.
Spear holding down off the top rope. Earth Shatter ready. Graviton set up. That's what he's looking to capitalize on now, but ends up charging into the wall. That shield break about to be heading out here. Spear got to be looking for the shatter. Meanwhile, Leo on the other side going to shatter first. And it gets 2 down immediately. Spear still throws in the shatter later to the fight, but it's too little, too late. GEEKSTAR rebounding here. They're going to get point A, and more importantly, Yamwan going to be set up for the EMP on next.
And WGS just not getting any value out of their ults right now. Darrow dropped the Transcendence in that fight, was not able to keep any of the people that were down on the ground alive. So now, first is over. GEEKSTAR, they've taken it, and it's going to be an equal EMP fight. Both teams having the EMP. And really, when you look at the fights like this, and you see that the beats are also equal, essentially, as long as Troron gets the beat, it's all about who engages first, who engages second. How does the order happen here, and whose EMP is better?
And so far, it's felt like that Yamwan is one to take the initiative, but this time it's going to be Flora. It drops in very early EMP. They use it to just delete Leo from the face of the game, and the fall through. Very strong from WGS, but on the same note, you look at GEEKSTAR, they weren't even trying to win that, and I think it's probably the right move that they just let that happen.
It's good to just let that happen. And also something to note is that Yamwan now has the EMP, obviously, like we just talked about. And they can use it to win the next fight, and they don't have a lot of distance. They really don't have a lot of distance to go. ZP is actually GeeKSTAR drops the grab, solo grab, Sven.
It's a solo grab, but it works out. Sven had no way of getting out. It catches WGS completely off guard, and more importantly, it's gonna let Yamwan hold on to the EMP. GEEKSTAR gonna be one fight away from evening up the series 1-1.
And that was a great engage for GEEKSTAR, and a smart read from GeeKSTAR, recognizing that if I just drop grab, WGS will have to commit a support ult very early, knowing that we still have EMP afterwards, we still have our support ults afterwards. And in addition to that, if they don't commit, it's a free fight win.
Yeah, and now the EMP alone could be enough. Yamwan, though, under pressure. Sombra v Sombra battle up top here. It's going to not give Yamwan the good initiation he's looking for. Still, though, drops EMP, and it sets up the shatter from Leo. Leo just dives on in after it. Gets a kill on the Lucio. He doesn't get a chance to drop the beat, and it's over.
Point.
GEEKSTAR taking King's Row. They even up the series 1-1, and already this is more than what some would have expected coming on in. Although I do think that this is probably GEEKSTAR's strongest map. So again, this is one that they had to win.
That was a great EMP shatter setup. After the initial invisible Sombra dance on top in the rafters, That was a great Sombra setup there. And GEEKSTAR just had the better of the ult economy game, and they had the better engages the entire time. When you're running Sombra, when you're running the Sombra goats, you need to be recognizing, okay, how am I going to use my ults here? How am I looking to get support ults out of the enemy, try to get the most value I can without using EMP to win a fight? And they just were able to do it much better.
Very much so. I mean, also what I'd point to here before we throw it a break here at halftime is that I think this has been a standout series for Leo here so far. He's been very, very solid for GEEKSTAR. His shatters were a big part of why they're able to take over Kings Row. And we'll see if he's going to be able to do that and more as we come back from the break.